I have page 88 here. I want to read a portion of an early prayer that really shows your heart, your attitude. You say, you know, I don't pray big prayers, Lord. You know that I'd rather do what I can on my own, but I can't do this. I'm desperate for you. There is nothing I can do without you. I'm asking you to do something really big beyond anything I could imagine, and I'm asking you to start right now. I just think this posture, this faith posture is key. And look what I've highlighted in the rest of the page here. I was not alone. I was not alone. I was not alone. I was not alone. You were cocooned by family. You left your own home so the media couldn't find you for that first week. You then faced children having to go back to school, and just the thought of that would bring a panic attack, I think. You were already in your mind labeled the shooter's wife, and these are his children. All of those bridges to cross. But God.
You know, it's not something that I would have ever imagined I was strong enough to handle. And I didn't have to be strong enough to do it because it was the strength of the Lord. You know, it wasn't about me. It wasn't about anything I ever knew prior to this. It was just about who God is and how he releases his grace in the moment when we need him.
You call this a love story. Who would ever imagine that a love story has come out? And as I read this book, I said to my husband, I wish everyone who thinks that life is without hope, who thinks their failure or their sin or their circumstances are too dark to ever bring life that matters again, would read this book. You talk about holy exchanges. What are the holy exchanges?
You know, for me, just coming to the Lord with whatever it is that I'm carrying, he wants it, and allowing him to take the weight of that, to take my burdens, you know, to take the emotion that I'm dealing with, whatever pain, and show me his truth of who I am in the midst of it, his truth of my future beyond it, you know, to see his perspective instead of feeling limited by all I can see in front of me.
Brennan Manning wrote, "The world is charged with grace, that while sin and war, disease and death are terribly real, God's loving presence and power in our midst are even more real." You experienced this. This story is a witness to that statement, but it hinged on choices you made. Your prayer reveals it, Marie. You chose to depend on God. You chose to believe that there was something more than what the circumstance dictated.
That very afternoon of the shooting, I knew that I was faced with a choice. I could either choose to believe that God is everything I had ever read in the pages of the Word, all that I had felt him speak to my heart or heard others testify of him to be. I could choose to believe that that God was somehow going to rescue our family, or the only other choice was to believe that we were going down like the fastest sinking ship. And you know, I couldn't wrap my mind around how God could rescue us except to believe that he would.
And just the reality of the pain of this, you say, the most prominent desires of my heart to be a wife and mother had been defined by loss and devastation. The deaths of Elise, the baby who lived 20 minutes, Isabella, the baby who never saw the light of day, and now Charlie. So I mean, how hopeless a launch pad. But it became such a testimony of the goodness of God. You encouraged your children to go on treasure hunts every day.
Yes, just to simply look for God in the moment, believing that he is continually revealing himself to us, just in ways that might seem small or almost insignificant, but all of those small deposits add up to something really big.
Was something unexpected and really big came in the form of a man who's 11 years older than you are.
Yes. Yes.
And you resisted him. He was just trying to deliver something on behalf of someone else, trying to show kindness. Tell us about Dan.
Dan was connected to me through another family member, and people that he worked with and went to church with knew of this distant connection, had given him some things to pass on to our family. And that family member gave him my phone number. So he called and left several messages that I did not return because I didn't want to talk to some guy I didn't know. But in that and his ability to be persistent, it was not something that either one of us anticipated, but something that was really beautiful crafted by the hand of the Lord.
Your daughter Abigail, on the day of the wedding, said, God has done so much good that it makes the bad stuff seem not so bad.
Yes.
How old was she when she made that profound statement?
She would have been not quite 8.
We have a photo now with your family of 5. Well, mom and the kids.
Yes.
And I love reading that at one point you were potty training and driver training at the same time. Dan's Nicole and DJ were 14 and 7.
Yes.
Were they at the time
at
of
the
the
time.
wedding?
Yes.
Wow. You called your life thoroughly unremarkable.
Yes.
Then your identity threatened to be the shooter's wife. But on the 5th anniversary of that terrible day, you came to a realization, a fresh sense of purpose. And I want to preface this by saying that I think the smartest decision you made was intentionally avoiding all media, saying no to all the calls, to be on all the programs. But on that 5th anniversary, what did God show you, Marie?
Pain is universal. We all face places of pain in our lives. And as the questions shifted from people just wanting details about my life to how they could get through their own tragedies and their own difficult situations, it gave me a fresh sense of purpose, just like you said, that, there is a message to be shared here, that it's not just about telling a story, but it's about connecting others in their place of darkness with the one who always shines his light.
I have to pull one scripture. There's so many that are rich. From the book Hosea, chapter 2, verses 14 and 15. You must love this. Therefore, I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. There I will give her back her vineyards, and I will make the valley of Achor, the place of trouble, a door of hope.
Yes.
I want to take this life lesson and put it on the screen for those in that dark place, that place of trouble and hopelessness. You say in the book, live in the expectancy of seeing God at work. That is what filled your heart, your basket with treasure.
Absolutely.
You expected from God
Yes. Yes.
what only He could do.
Yes. We in our own strength aren't capable, and I was certainly not capable of writing a love story, but the Lord is always capable. There is no situation that's beyond His redemption.
Marie, it has been a treasure to meet you. This is one of the best books I've read.
Thank you.
Ever. I said if this wasn't a true story, I would recommend it as a novel. But it's painfully and wondrously true. And I want to encourage you to get this. Get it for somebody who's struggling right now, struggling in their faith, struggling in their circumstances. One light still shines. And there's more proof in here than you could possibly imagine. Wonderfully co-written with Cindy Lambert, Marie Monville.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your life with us.
You're welcome.
If you're in that dark place right now, please let me remind you that our prayer lines are always available. Let us help you today to see there is a light in the dark place, and He loves you.